Well, this certainly took a while. This challenge actually has a difficulty curve opposite to that of most others. While most start off difficult and get easier as you acquire enough gear to deal with the limitations set upon you, you don't normally start with armor or accessories anyway. So this one only starts off at regular Master Otherworld difficulty. Playing Terraria without armor or accessories introduces three main problems: damage, defense, and mobility. I'd like to say we'll just be a glass cannon until Moonlord, but cannon might be a slight exaggeration, so maybe something more like a glass finger gun. For mobility, without accessories, we have three main options: minecarts, mounts, and hooks. Minecarts are great for traversing long, straight distances, but don't help much underground. Mounts would be ideal, but they all require significant progression to unlock. That leaves hooks. While it's obviously not ideal, they'll provide enough freedom of movement to get us started, which means our first step in progression will be caving. I would normally skip all this iron, but we'll need an absurd amount later on for minecart tracks, so it's best to start collecting it as soon as possible. Our first golden chest had an extractinator, but honestly, with this challenge, I'd say the dangerous sense potion is more useful. Sadly, it didn't help against the raw power of the cave bat. One of the most frustrating parts of this challenge is just getting back to where you were previously. After dying a few more times attempting to get back to the same cave, I think I just got incredibly tilted because for some reason, instead of building a vertical elevator, I decided to build a horizontal one. I don't know what was going on here. It was a very nice horizontal elevator though. After finally getting back to the cave and dying a third time to the same cave bat, I had had enough. I decided that instead of getting 1 and 2 shot by enemies, I would start working on my own better cave inside the original cave. I would end up using this strategy way too much later on. It wasn't fast, and it wasn't flashy, but it was safe, and allowed me to get my next golden chest, containing Hermes boots. Thanks, Terraria. I swear, I feel the game just knows sometimes what you're doing. Mini Shark only run? Hey, let's drop an Uzi on the first Angry Trapper Supplier fights. Wouldn't that be funny? Anyway, after looting another chest and life crystal, I finally felt confident enough to stop my turtling strategy, and immediately got killed by a cave bat. Just as a blood moon was starting. Can you tell how much fun this playthrough was gonna be? I actually took a break from the game for a few days. I just did not feel like dealing with everything going on right then. When I came back, I had regained at least a few brain cells. I didn't even bother trying to do anything during the blood moons this time. Instead, I decided to start work on a elevator. Vertical this time. And immediately got a cloud in a bottle. Terraria definitely has a sense of humor. After the sun came up, I decided to explore the other side of the world, and ended up finding a nice mountain cave much closer to my spawn than the one on the other side, and almost immediately found the jackpot. Emeralds. Hooks are normally pretty great, but you appreciate them so much more when they're literally your only mobility option. I'm pretty sure you can also guess what was in the next chest. This pattern would repeat for a while. I would go into a cave, loot a few chests with stuff I couldn't use, die, come back to the cave, loot a few more chests, die again, repeat. Eventually, I got my HP up enough to the point where I felt confident challenging my first boss. I mean, yeah, it's Master Mode, and yeah, it's for the worthy, and yeah, I can't use armor or accessories, but I mean, it's the Eye of Cthulhu. How hard can the Eye of Cthulhu be? Yup, shoulda guessed, didn't even make it to the second stage. I could get a few more hearts, and maybe a better weapon, maybe a few more buffs, and I might have a chance, but I saw an easier way. Remember all that iron we needed to collect from earlier? Well, we're gonna use it now. The hardest part of both of those fights was setting up the rail. The next boss, though, was Otherworld's. I decided to fight it with mostly a standard arena, but with vertically stacked platforms to give me horizontal velocity when I hooked into them. Then immediately abandoned that idea as soon as I tried to fight regular mobs in it, and planted corrupt seeds on a raised platform to artificially expand the corruption biome upwards, then waited 2 hours for them to grow. After finishing up my elevator, I embarked on possibly the shortest Hellstone mining trip ever, mainly because I didn't need to grind for any armor. And I now had the best gear available pre-Skeletron, so I mean, I think you know what boss I'm fighting next. And dying to next. And again. And again. And again. The problem with this fight is, unlike the previous one, Skeletron can't be completely trivialized by going straight backwards on a minecart. And I just happen to have no mobility whatsoever outside minecarts. Don't even talk to me about mouse. That isn't happening. I did, however, have gravitation potions, and what follows is perhaps the most disorienting fight I've ever done. took 4 hours of practice. Looting the dungeon with no mobility outside of a hook might sound like pure torture, but it was actually a nice break compared to finishing up the Hell Bridge. The only thing I really needed from the dungeon was a shadow key, and after obtaining it, I never planned on entering that place again. Before I could fight the Wall of Flesh and finish up at least half of this hellscape, though, I had a problem. Usually, when fighting the Wall of Flesh, you want the best gear obtainable at the time. Usually this includes some defense, so you don't die instantly, or some mobility, so you can dodge attacks. Or like, anything at all. Because this thing has 28,000 HP. Luckily, I had a solution. I was going to blow up the Arctic. I'm pretty sure most Terraria players have never even heard of frozen slime blocks before, but due to clicking the random page tab on the Terraria wiki 276 times because I had nothing better to do during a free period, I have. And they're actually pretty awesome. Crafted with ice and slime blocks at a solidifier, you know, that king slime drop you never use, these will allow you to maintain your velocity when sliding on them. And that includes hook velocity. Thanks to my slime statue form, I had plenty of gel, and the only difficult ingredient to acquire was ice. Hence, nuking the Arctic. The landscape was ruined, and I was now on the run from multiple environmental protection agencies, but it was for a good cause. Probably. Now all I had to do was build a 4,000 block long bridge in hell, where everything dealt triple digit damage with almost no way to dodge attacks, summon the Wall of Flesh, avoid its lasers, and kill it while having almost no control over my own mobility. Easy. So, you know how annoying early hard mode normally is? Wouldn't it be funny if, with mobs with the health of pre-hard mode bosses and one-shotting capabilities, you couldn't control your own movement? Because Terraria thought so. Terraria thought it was really funny. Anyway, you all have seen early hard mode grinding before, so I'll skip my frankly embarrassingly large amount of deaths here, and we can fast forward to Queen Slime, who drops the Gelatinous Pillion. The Gelatinous Pillion contains both the useful abilities of Flight, and moving more than 5 miles per hour while running from environmental protection agencies, so it would be a huge upgrade if I could get it. Unfortunately, Queen Slime is effectively impossible to dodge with my current mobility. Fortunately, you don't need to dodge on a minecart, and I just so happen to have a high-speed rail network covering half the map already. That fight was more disappointing than my upload schedule. I did get the Gelatinous Pillion, though. A mount which has most of the speed of the unicorn, but more importantly is able to fly for 2 seconds. It may not seem like much compared to regular mobility setups, but it's a lot better than a grappling hook. I decided to continue with the normal hard mode boss progression and fought Duke Fishron. requiring the most balanced bow in the game, I decided it was time to finally fight the mechs. Believe it or not, the only useful item I can craft with all of the loot from all 3 mech bosses is the optic staff. I crafted the pickaxe axe, but even that is honestly skippable since chlorophyte is useless in this run. So my setup won't actually be changing at all until well after Plantera, and even then we'll only be adding one new secondary weapon, and we'll be maintaining the majority of the current loadout until Moonlord. And this is why this video took 3 months to make. Up until now, boss fights have been difficult, but using a variety of loadouts to make up for a lack of mobility, not infeasibly so. But starting in late hard mode is when the lack of gear really starts being felt. Normally, at this point, you have Hallowed Armor Holy Dodge, and either significantly more agility, or 7 accessories full of defensive and offensive boosts. Forget unoptimized loadouts, I didn't even have a loadout. Nothing stood in the way of every single mob that set its eyes upon me instantly locking on and dealing hundreds of damage a hit, usually one-shotting. On my first Mask Before the Rosy run, I made a loadout that reduced the average damage I took by 80%. This run, that's not gonna happen, and I'll need to face late-game Mask Before the Rosy head-on, with no cushion, or accessories, or armor. First up, Plantera. I started off by nuking the underground jungle. This set yet another environmental protection agency after me, but seeing as I was about to kill the literal embodiment of nature, this felt like a pretty minor problem. After killing enough hornets that I got a banner of them, and dying to them enough they probably had one of me, I was ready for the fight. I was not ready for the fight. For the second fight, I just could not kill this boss. I tried luring it into a tunnel for its second stage. That went well. So I tried building another new tunnel with background walls, which showed a lot more promise. Or did it? I even tried enraging it. That was a pretty terrible idea. The problem with this boss is, unlike the previous ones, you have to wait ages between every attempt of the fight, and I didn't have a great way to practice it either, so I did the only thing I could do, and kept trying. I got so frustrated at this point, I tried just insta-killing the second stage with rockets, but even that failed due to my awful knowledge of Terraria wiring. I ended up recruiting a motivational support crab. Phase Blade now as well, so pretty sure that means I auto-win. My godly red phase.
I mean, you already won in your heart, but that may or may not be visible to others.
Well, I definitely can win the fight. The question is, do I have the motivation to if I lose this one again? Okay, I'm just gonna go for it. Probably.
I mean, there is nothing that will actually stop you.
Yeah, at this point.
A bit too late for that, too.
Yeah. I forgot to actually buff, and I'm in a really awkward spot. Oh. Ah. Okay, buff acquired. Oh my... Oh, you are kidding me. You are kidding me. Plantera despawned again right after I buffed.
Hopefully it works.
Okay.
One day or another.
Putting the Nimbus rods out, using the summons. Time to use the holy arrows. Doing the very advanced technique of going in a circle for phase 1 and dying in phase 2.
Yeah, sounds like What should happen?
Actually, very
Oh,
soon, in fact. She has 8k HP left, and I have no HP, and my tunnel is gonna run out.
Tunnel is what?
She has 1000 HP, and I died.
Damn. Well, at least he knows that it is possible.
That just makes it more painful. It's going really quickly. 15, 14, I'm reaching the end of my tunnel. No, 12, 10, come on, 9, 6. Why is Queen Bee here? Why is Queen Bee here? No, 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 not Queen Bee. No, not Queen Bee. No, no, no. Queen Bee just trolled me so hard.
Do you actually record without our talking? Or
Yeah, I get. Oh, yeah, I was.
Well, you will certainly sort it out somehow.
I'm going after Plantera again. Hopefully it doesn't despawn. Hopefully Queen Bee doesn't spawn. Hopefully nothing with an S happens, because that just seems to be bad in general.
Hopefully nothing bad happens.
Yeah.
Then it just does anyway. Because why not? Oh, so went your tabs and just blade of grass someone.
Nice.
Also, that implies I am in great danger.
Okay, I'm gonna try to use my tunnel, so, I wouldn't say give me good luck, because luck, well, I guess it actually will affect
Good luck, I guess.
Yeah, luck actually will affect this one, because of where the tentacles go, and it's not looking like I'm going to have
Also,
very
it
good
will
luck.
raise your damage by like 5% at max luck.
Yeah, I am not having very good luck right now. She still has 20,000 HP, and my tunnel's like half gone. Wasted a good bulb, but I really can't do much of anything. 15,000, just lost half my health. And I don't have healing potions. I forgot to refill healing potions. 7,000 though somehow, but I'm at the end of my tunnel now. 4,000. Wait, oh my god! Accidentally did Plantera no healing.
Okay. That's my luck for ya.
And I got
Maybe.
healing potions from the boss, so I don't even have to look for more. Crab, your luck paid off.
Literally dream luck transferred.
After Plantera, I decided to fight the Empress of Light. I could dodge the Empress fine, and definitely didn't die to it a dozen times. I was losing solely because of the green slimes in my arena. So, I spent 40 minutes covering the entire arena in walls and resummoned the boss. No more mobs will ever spawn in that arena. Damn it. That worked? Somehow, despite the pre-Empress prep being annoying, I expected no other boss to be able to top the amount of prep Plantera required. The Jungle Temple got rid of that notion very quickly. After spending an hour traversing the trap-ridden labyrinths, I finally got to the Golem chamber and did a test run of the fight, and realized very quickly that I was not going to beat this thing in its chamber. I would need to fight it outside in the jungle, and unlike Plantera, I couldn't just wait for a new summon to spawn near my existing arena. I need to make an even larger arena than the Plantera arena next to the Jungle Temple, and with post-Plantera scaled mobs constantly harassing me. After spending another 2 hours blowing up even more of the jungle, I was ready for the fight. I spent an hour building a giant asphalt runway across the world and summoned the cultist. I don't think that I ever struggled against the Lunatic Cultist before, even in previous Master for the Warzy runs. But at this point in the game, even joke bosses like the Lunatic Cultist are difficult due to my total lack of gear. I actually died to him on my first attempt. That's how bad this setup is. I died to the Lunatic Cultist. But that was an easy late game boss. So, how will this setup fare against what's already the most painful event in the game when you're using real equipment? Sisters 3 eyes were released, just as the core itself was opening, just as it looked as if I might be able to win this challenge, I died to Moonlord. I had no idea what I was supposed to do. I had gotten so close, so damn close to finishing this. But it didn't matter. I had messed up the transition phase too badly. During the solar pillar, I got so frustrated at one point that I unplugged my laptop and walked away. But I didn't quit the game. I remembered a strategy I had used long ago on my first ever laptop I played Terraria on. It was cheap with the 1366 by a 768 screen, an i3 processor, and ran every game at 20 FPS. Except Terraria, because Terraria had an option called frame skip. When on, this made it work like other games, where if you couldn't run it at 60 FPS, it would just drop frames. Or skip frames. But if it was off, instead of dropping frames when you couldn't run Terraria, it would slow the game itself down. I hadn't used this strategy in years, and I wasn't sure if it was even possible on my new laptop, which could run Terraria just fine normally. But by unplugging it, it went into battery saver mode and cut its performance. And this was just enough for the game to start slowing down. Not as much as my old laptop, but enough that solar pillar enemies moved just a bit slower, and I could survive just a bit longer and kill just a few more per death. It was insanely cheesy, but it worked. Sometimes. I don't think I could have beaten the pillars without it. 2 hours after rediscovering it, I had cleared all 4 pillars. I couldn't stomach the thought of doing pillars again. It was hell the first time, with a glimmer of hope of reward at the end. I don't think I'd be able to go through that again without it. I wouldn't do pillars again. But I did have enough fragments to create one more celestial sigil. This time, I would build a wall next to my teleporter so that I'd never get stuck in the same place as I did the last fight. And I would use the completely normal technique of unplugging my laptop to get a few extra frames of reaction time. This would put the total fight length at over half an hour, but it was half an hour that I might just be able to survive. One way or another, after this fight, I'd be free.